Hi, Joe.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores.
Rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1324, June 12th, 2024. The unheralded heat wave of 1956 continues. 95 degrees on this day in 1956. That's day 3. We're not done with the unheralded heat wave of 1956. And 39 degrees on this day in 1877. Be a great swimming day once this morning rain stops. I guess she's supposed to heat up pretty good this afternoon. If you own a lake home or a swimming pond out back, you want to get a hold of Aquaside and get that swimming area kept free of weeds and algae and all the other junk that you don't want in there. Aquaside products are made right there in White Bear Lake. They're easy to use. They work quickly. They're registered with the EPA and DNR. You don't need to let weeds overtake your lake or pond this summer. Call Aquaside today. Tell them what you're looking at. They'll help you identify your weed problem and make sure your place will look great all summer long. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Hey, the Canadian Cancer Society is sorry it's been offending trans people. So they're no longer going to use the word cervix to refer to the organ of the female reproductive system. Instead, that can be referred to as the front hole.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Is this AI?
That's fairly inelegant, isn't it?
Kind of seems pornographic.
Yeah, right to the point, though.
The Canadian, but John and I verified this yesterday. Yep. The Canadian Cancer Society is receiving backlash for lamenting the significant barriers that trans, non-binary, and gender diverse people supposedly face when being screened for cervical cancer, like the horrors of current medical terminology. We recognize that many trans men and non-binary people may have mixed feelings about or feel distanced from words like cervix. You may prefer other words such as front hole.
Wow.
The organization said on its website. We recognize the limitations of the words we've used while also acknowledging the need for simplicity. Go bleep yourself.
I believe. It sounds like a tab on Pornhub, doesn't it?
It really does.
I believe the other community said, don't forget about the back hole.
Hey, now.
There's all kinds of orifices, aren't there?
Hey, now.
Why don't you name them?
I don't want to name them.
Yeah,
I've been putting puzzle pieces together. I can't stop thinking about what we discovered yesterday with the help of Mary Moriarty. I do believe we found the glowing ember at the heart of the mystery, and that is, and we've always said the mystery is the bringing about of a different country. And we didn't know how or why or when, but over the years, we've been able to just put the pieces together, and they're really coming together more quickly now. And I base that on what was said yesterday by Mary Moriarty, acting in concert with this supposed law professor at William Mitchell Hamlin. And it's important to review, because a number of things made me think about this today. It's important to review what the law professor said during a Zoom call that Mary and the law professor had, Dr. T. Anansi Wilson. Why they had this event, I don't know, but it was a May 28 event, and Mary Moriarty was, this is when Mary was explaining that she thinks there's an effort to make the public fear crime And we went on from there to discover what's really at the heart of this is, well, there can be no crime in the country they envision. And here are the words of the law professor regarding the Constitution. Wilson, well, let me start with Mary. White supremacy is ingrained everywhere, Moriarty said. White supremacy is what we all live in. It's the water. It's what we swim in. In other words, she's really wants us to know that we're just thoroughly engulfed by white supremacy. Wilson, the law professor, agreed and took it a step further, explaining his belief that white supremacy is embedded in all public policy, including the Constitution, which is terribly crucial to understand. That's my words. We have to think about the Constitution as the living will of the white supremacist, slave-owning, genocidal, xenophobic, sexist, homophobic, cis, heterosexist, capitalistic, classics, maniacs, Wilson said. And then Moriarty said something that I guess this is what she really said that got me trying to put puzzle pieces together. She also discussed her advice for current law students, which was to ask more questions. You talk about the rule of law. It's like, what is that? I mean, I kind of wonder how anybody talks about the rule of law now. Okay. If there is no rule of law, what replaces it? And I'll answer the question with some stories. Here's a story called Massachusetts Middle School Kid Banned from Wearing Only Two Genders Shirt. He couldn't wear that shirt. In fact, he lost a case in a federal appeals court. It's a Boston story. He wore the shirt to school. They said no. His attorneys lost that case in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit in Boston, ruled against Middleborough student Liam Morrison in a high-profile First Amendment case. So was the school telling him he couldn't wear the shirt based on the rule of law?
Isn't that self-expression?
No, we'll get to this. But I'll keep asking that question. Was that based on a rule of law that you're aware of? I mean, there is the First Amendment has resulted in laws. Apparently, it failed in this case. Now, there's another story out of the state of Washington where, well, I'll do this one first because I can't find the state of Washington one. It's one you handed me, Reeves, that you printed for me.
It's next to your mouse.
It's next to my mouse.
Right underneath your microphone.
There it is. You're right.
Got her.
But here's one. Putting puzzle pieces together. California middle schooler sisters booted from private school over patriotism. Jimmy Hayward and his two sisters were kicked out of a California Catholic school because I've said the Catholic schools in many cases are no better than the other ones. They're failed as hell. Over a violation of its code of conduct. The school says the decision to terminate the three students was due to serious violations of the Christian code of conduct and the parent electronic communication policy, according to the letter signed by the Reverend Vincent Pham, P-H-A-M, the parish's pastor. The alleged violations came after May 16 when Jimmy was supposed to give his speech to his classmates while he ran for Commissioner of School Spirit and Patriotism as part of the school's elections. During preparations for the role, Jimmy wrote his speech, which featured patriotic elements that the school perceived to violate the Christian code of conduct. My love for America is my motivation for running Commissioner of Patriotism and School Spirit. It is my honor to live in this country. Sadly, some people take their citizenship for granted, whether it is disrespecting the people who protect us or eating nachos during the national anthem at sporting events, Jimmy wrote in his speech. Many people recite the Pledge of Allegiance without understanding the meaning. If someone doesn't truly know what they are pledging to the United States of America, they might as well be reciting the lyrics to Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. If elected, Jimmy said, he would undertake the crucial task of making SBS more patriotic. SBS, it must be St. Barnaby's or something. I don't know what the school name is. And gave a sign-off similar to former President Donald Trump. I will make school spirit great again. I will make patriotism within SBS great again. And most importantly, I will make SBS great again. Thank you, and God bless St. Bonaventure Catholic School. All speeches had to receive advance approval from school officials, and Jimmy was not approved. And Jimmy's mother admitted that some portions were a little combative. I don't see the combativeness. The family spent the night before the speech revising and rewriting some of the wording, and by the end of editing, it ended up sounding really good and something we were all proud of, said the mom, Mrs. Ruggles. However, school principal Mary Flock barred Jimmy from giving the speech unless he removed all references to patriotism. Ruggles claims Flock's ruling was because she didn't hold the same views as her son and that the principal was suppressing the 13-year-old's freedom of speech. It certainly sounds like it. In Tuesday's letter, the school allegedly accused the family of speaking to administrators in a way that is not in line with our expectations of respectful and courteous communication. The family was also accused of creating a petition demanding the removal of Flock, which received 6,700 signatures.
Ooh, wow.
Ruggles' petition seemingly worked as parents were informed last month that Flock left her position at the school. It is with sadness that I inform you that Principal Flock is split. Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you tell me again what the assignment was?
It wasn't an assignment. He was running for a school office, and he wanted to give a speech on patriotism.
And the office was. Tell me the office, the title of the.
I can
because it sounds like he was.
The mom's name is Hattie Ruggles.
Sounds like he was on brand.
It's a school it's St. Bonaventure. It's in Huntington Beach, California.
Yeah.
And he was running for.
It was right at the outset. You said at the beginning. He was running for Commissioner of School Spirit and Patriotism, which I take it was an existing office. Okay. Okay, good. I just wanted to confirm.
He didn't seem to invent that.
No. It just, I had to confirm. I thought I heard you say that. Okay, good. The irony is just killing me.
Okay, keep that in mind. What was the first one I gave you? The kid in Boston who couldn't wear two genders.
Yeah.
And then finally, I could do this all day, but I've chosen 3 for my puzzle pieces. 3 teens in the state of Washington are facing 10 years in jail after making skid marks on an LGBT rainbow road mural while riding e-scooters. Boy, there's a bunch of windmilling going on right there, isn't there? Yeah. E-scooters. 3 Washington teens. Okay. 19-year-old Ruslan V.V. Turco and 2 unnamed minors were arrested on Wednesday for first-degree malicious mischief after vandalizing the Rainbow Pride mural. It sits in front of Riverfront Park in Spokane, Washington. Turco appeared in court on Thursday alongside legal counsel. Prosecutors requested a $15,000 bond that would cover the approximate cost of repainting the mural. The teen was later released on his own recognizance on the condition that he does not return to the crosswalk and he can't talk to the other suspects.
Wow.
The teens got caught after a group of witnesses sitting at a nearby bar saw them acting nefariously, revving their electronic Lime scooters and intentionally scooting their tires over the mural to create skid marks, according to KREM News. which surprises me. I would not think those little scooters would be powerful enough to do that, unless they did it by slamming on the brakes.
I bet that's what happened.
Court records cite the witnesses confronted the teens, with some taking photos with their phones. One of the minors hit back by saying, "Bleep you, bleep you, bleep you." Well, okay. The city just refinished the mural, and the city was very disappointed. And of course, the people at Lime Scooter were appalled, and they wanted to reinforce their support for the LGBT community. All of us at Lime condemn these vile acts. All right.
Why are they a protected class? I mean, I'm not.
You're getting to it. Just a moment.
Okay. Sit down there, little guy.
That's right.
Getting fired up here, Joe.
All right. Let me stop there. Now think what Mary said. Think what the law professor said about the Constitution, and think about what Mary said is the rule of law, which she suspects, she holds it in suspicion. What do you mean the rule of law? What are you talking about? Because if you redo the Constitution and envision a country in the vision of Mary, there is going to be no rule of law, because the law is merely an affectation of the flawed white patriarchs who founded the country. Follow me so far?
I do.
Okay, so if you're not going to have laws to follow, think of these three cases: the kid who couldn't wear the shirt, the kid who wanted to give a speech about patriotism, the kids who hit the brakes on a mural of LGBT mural in Spokane. What did they violate? What did they violate that passes for law?
I don't get to guess, do I?
No, because you already got it, which shocked the hell out of me.
Well, wait a minute.
No, I mean that as a compliment.
Oh, okay.
There won't be a rule of law. There will be a rule of ideology. You will have to obey the state's ideology. The state will determine what is right and wrong. That will eliminate from human existence the rule of law. The rule of law is neutral. It allows for your freedom. Ideology is not neutral, and it takes your freedom. It takes your freedom to defer. But if the Mystrerians continue to win, if the likes of Mary progress and win, there will be. She doesn't want to prosecute. She only wants to prosecute white people.
True.
If the likes of Mary win, if the Mystrerians win, there will be no laws. There will only be a state-approved ideology.
Scary.
I wish I was engaged in hyperbole, but if you take the clues and then put the puzzle pieces together, where are you supposed to be led?
Well, you can also say that it's already playing out, so to speak, because if you look at a crime being committed in one state, there's a chance that person's not going to be prosecuted. That exact same crime happens in a different state. Well, yeah, they will be.
I have a different example coming up, but before we get ahead of ourselves, I